All right, so this is my last time building an SR20 for my 240. So if you guys watch this video or watch my channel, you will see this car basically is down all the time. So first time the cam caps weren't getting oil pressure or oil at all. It scored the cam journals. Second time, it blew up completely. It windowed the block on both sides and it ruined the upper oil pan. With that being said, I really like this car, but I'm not gonna continue putting money into it if I don't get nothing out of it. And this is exactly what's happening now. I'm putting a lot of money into this car and I've barely driven it. Like, I could tell you how many events that I've been to on one hand, just because I've had plenty of issues with this car. Not necessarily just the engine, but the engine has been a big part of it because it is the most expensive item. So I don't know if you guys know, but like, my first engine in this car was an S15 Spec R SR20. When I got it, it was 3,200, but if you look at prices now, it's like 9-10 grand, and I'm not paying that price. So I could buy a whole car for the price of the engine. So with that being said, this will be my last time doing this. I already spoke to my stepdad and my mom, and they told me that I could park the car in the garage because that's it for me. So today what we'll be doing is I'll be trying to reassemble this engine. I'm gonna try to get as far as possible. This engine is pretty much the same setup as I had before. It's 9-to-1 compression pistons, mainly rods. As far as the timing stuff, it's pretty much the same. I did have a MazWorks timing chain squirter in my last engine, but when I brought it to the machine shop, they didn't do it this time, even though I left it for them. So I don't know what that is, but I'm not even gonna try to mess with that. So yeah, everything else is pretty much the same. The ACL, race bearings, all of that stuff. It's pretty much gonna be the same exact engine package. All right, I tried to do a time lapse of me putting on the timing components, but there was some stuff that I did wrong, so I'm just to let y'all know. So for timing, right? You want the piston at top dead center, right? In order for it to be there, the timing marks from the actual sprocket is not correct. You need to go based off of where these little, I forgot what these things are called. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. But you have to line this hole up with the timing mark that is on the block. And then you'll see that the timing mark that's on the gear itself is down here. And that's exactly where the chain for the timing chain is supposed to be in order for the marks for the cam to be correct. So as it sits right now, the engine is in time. What I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna throw the O-ring in here, put RTV on the oil pump / timing cover, throw that on. I'm lightly tighten the bolts so the RTV could adhere to the surface. Then I'm gonna flip it around. I have to put the up oil pan, the oil pickup, the baffle, the low oil pan on, and that will pretty much be done for the short block. Just in case you guys were wondering, this is the oil pump O-ring part number. You need to buy this. You need to buy this. Sometimes the O-ring doesn't want to stay, so the trick is to throw a little lube on it, and it winds up staying no problem. Also prevents it from getting damaged for when you put the actual timing cover on. Times like this, you need somebody with little hands. I don't feel like my hands are that big, but every time I try to stick them somewhere, it just doesn't fit. All right, so we're at this point where we just gotta do the upper oil pan, then the baffle in between, and then the lower oil pan. So I'm just gonna snap do some YouTube magic. All right, so our oil pan is RTV'd. Now I'm gonna throw all the hardware in. It's a lot of hardware all around. And there's 2 nuts in the back. So that I'm gonna do now. And then there's another like windage tray, I guess, that goes here. And then the lower oil pan. And then the short block is finito. Well, then the bottom end is done. All right, so this is kind of like that baffle windage tray thing that I was telling you guys about. That's on now. So now it's time for the lower oil pan. The lower oil pan is the same oil pan that I've been using. It's a Circuit Sports pan. I'll show you in a second. Right, so this is a Circuit Sports oil pan. Obviously, you can see it has baffles, so when you're driving sideways, more oil will come in, and the opposite way, no oil goes out. And this is a bigger capacity. It's a really nice pan. My favorite part about this is, let me place this so it doesn't fall. It will fall here, so let me just put it here. Favorite part is it comes with a magnetic oil drain plug. I know people probably see this like, wow, that's mad regular, but the last pan that I had, I don't remember which one it was, didn't come with this. So I'm definitely grateful that it did. And you could see it does pick up some stuff when you do your oil changes. So with this pan, there's 2 studs here, 2 studs here. Gotta put those studs in, obviously, before you put the pan on. And then there's a nut and a lock-in washer that goes, but you have to do this because it's wider, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I figured I'd just show you guys. All right, so if you're a car guy and you're doing stuff like this and you have exhaust manifold studs, lower oil pan studs, intake manifold studs, any studs, in order to remove them or put them in, you need to use the double nut method. Pause. So what happens is you take 2 nuts, you lock them together on the stud, and you're able to fasten the stud all the way down till it basically fits itself right into the actual surface that you need it to fit into. So it's very simple. You put both of the nuts on, pause, and you tighten them together. Tightening them together tightens them to the stud. Then you can tighten this top bolt into whatever the surface is. And in order to loosen it, you put a wrench on the bottom and then a wrench on the top. You hold the one on the bottom and you loosen the one at the top. And then you can take it off easily. So I already did it for this one. That one is pretty much bottomed out already. When I was threading it in with my hand, I could do it a little more. This one needs the double nut method. So we're just gonna keep going till that's done, and then throw some RTV on the lower oil pan and then plop that on. All right, so this is where we're gonna leave off for today. I have to clean up and I have to get out of here. For one, it's hot. As you can see, I'm sweating, and I'm just standing here. I'm sweating, I'm toasted, and I stink. I ain't gonna hold you. All right, it is now the next day, and continuing where we left off, the whole bottom end is assembled. Now we gotta put on the head. So the head package is exactly the same as I had it before. If you watched the other video, the only thing I did was put HKS cams in it. The valves are still the same. The cams are HKS 264s. They're the step 1 cams. So you don't really have to do much with those. They're considered drop-in cams. That's probably the reason why I got them. But in order to put the head on, I have a Pexi head gasket and Mazworks head studs. So head studs are better than head bolts because they use more torque. It's more clamping force. So I used that on the last build, and I'm continuing that now. The only thing I'm gonna do that's gonna be slightly different is I'm not gonna put the studs in before I put the head on. The only reason why for that is because usually you could do that if you have somebody else holding the timing chain for you. I don't. I'm gonna be doing this myself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna put the head close to it, fish the timing chain in, then drop it down while the head gasket is on. I'm gonna be using the copper spray for the head gasket. That way I can ensure that, you know, it's a full seal and I don't really have to worry about anything. So let's get to it. Head gasket has been sprayed with the copper spray. Don't worry, I wasn't letting overspray get anywhere. I used the cardboard. In the meantime, while that is drying, I'm going to be reusing my Mazworks head studs. So I'm gonna clean them thoroughly. I got new ARP lubricant to use to put the studs in and to tighten them down. And then after that, once the head gasket is dry, I'll throw the head gasket on. All right, for the head studs, I did 2 stages of cleaning. So I just wiped them down, and then that was the first stage. The second stage, I sprayed the crap out of them with brake parts cleaner. So now they're clean, glistening. I'm gonna throw the head gasket on, then throw the head on, and so on and so forth. Before I do that, one thing that anybody should know or not forget is these little dowels. So if you forget these dowels, you're gonna have a hard time. Make sure the dowels are in the head before you throw the head gasket on, and definitely before you throw the head on. So head gasket is on. This is crazy. This is definitely crazy. Like, I'm really just doing this shit by myself. Next is the head. So I don't, maybe I can catch this. I just took this out of the head. It's like a wire bristle. It's kind of sus. Good thing I was checking. It was in this lifter hole. I was just running my finger through all of them, make sure there was nothing suspect, and I seen that. That's concerning, but after further inspection, doesn't look like there's anything else. So I'm just gonna send it. That was a pain to do myself. I mean, actually, it wasn't even. Okay, let's see what the issue is. So the machine shop messed this up. So this is supposed to be angled more outward, so it's sitting on it. So I'm gonna try to see if I can, you know, grab a locking plier if I can find one, try to twist it outwards. I knew that looked weird. It looked very close to the head. Let me try to see if I can move this. All right, I moved it. I don't know if it was supposed to be that easy, but it was fairly easy to move with the right tools, of course. Now it's time for the nerve-wracking part. Putting the head studs in and torquing them down. All right, so I have this oil. Tom recommended it when I was breaking in my engine before. So I have this quart that I didn't use, or maybe I used a portion of it. So it's pretty full. So the bottom threads that go into the block, you need to coat them in oil before you drop them in. And then the top finer threads, you have to use the ARP fastener lubricant. And that's what I'm gonna do. Coat the bottom in this and coat the top in the ARP fastener lubricant. All right, so I have one down. I'm not gonna go crazy with the ARP fastener lube. Because I have to also throw it on the washer and I have to throw it on the nut itself. So I'm gonna just snap this part and then get the torque in. All right, so now all of the head studs are in. There are 10 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Initially, when I was threading them in the block, it didn't feel that good. So I threaded them down, took it back out, cleaned it, threaded it down, took it back out, cleaned it, then eventually it seated properly. So that took mad long, but it's good. We're here now. So according to the instructions for the Mazworks head studs, it has to be, the head studs have to be torqued down in sequence to 45 foot-pounds and then 65 foot-pounds. I think I'm just gonna like a gradual step up. So I might do like 25, then 45, then 65. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. Just going straight to 45 seems a little wild. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it in sequence. Alright, first sequence of 25 is done. Now we're gonna bump it up to 45. Alright, it's 45. The next one is 65. It's 10. Okay, let's double check that. Okay, all 10 head studs have been torqued to spec. There's a few more bolts that I need to put in. There are 2 here on the inside, 1, 2 on the outside. So I gotta find those. More than likely they're in some little baggie that I put away. Once I find those, then I could start throwing the cams in and putting the cam caps on. Okay, all the head hardware is in. So what is next is I gotta put everything in for the valve train. That means like the shim and the guide shim, the rocker, the lifter, all of that has to go in and is very specific for each cylinder and each bank. Like this is exhaust, this side, this is intake. So intake bank 1, boom, it has to be intake bank 1. So I'm gonna work on doing all of that now. It's kind of gonna be a lot because I have to bleed the lifters individually. And once I get that in, then I can throw the cams in, and I can throw the cam caps on and make sure the engine is in time, and that'll be it for today. All right, so the rockers, shims, guide shim is in, cam caps are on. The cam caps look hella ugly because I didn't bring them to the machine shop with the head. I don't know why I didn't. I just wasn't thinking about it. I have this last cam cap over there on the box. I'm gonna grab it in a second. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna put the intake cam in. Those of you do know or don't know, this is a VCT engine. I have the HKS step 1 cams that I'm gonna put in this engine. It's the same cams for my last engine. I'm just gonna lube it up, place it in, slowly tighten it down, and make sure my timing marks are on point. These are both the part numbers for the cam squirters. I'm just gonna snap until both of them are in, because it is like 12 o'clock in the morning and I'm trying to get this done so I can get out of here. So all right, so as you can see, the cams are in. I haven't torqued them down to spec just yet. I am gonna put the tensioner on so I get rid of this slack. Okay, so I did a few revolutions just to make sure it was in time. I counted 20 rollers in between the 2 dots, which is perfect, and it just so happens to be at top dead center. So looking good. Timing wise, it looks like it's on point. I do have to take feeler gauge and see if I can verify that this is within spec. This is the 5.0 Ignite kit, and once that is, I know that's in spec, that'll be good. Right now, I could throw the valve cover on and pretty much call it a day. Alright, so I apologize if the filming is trash. I'm tired. But this is where we're leaving off right now. On camera, this valve cover looks fire. It's actually really dirty. Red hides a lot. Love that. But if you come up close, let me see if I can see, it's a little dirty. So anyways, looks pretty good. I'm gonna pick this up the next time I'm at the shop. All right, so I am back. It is what, the next day? So picking up where we left off, I torqued down the cam caps. So a lot of people say that the spring type torque wrench is not very accurate, and so I went to Ryan's house. I borrowed his digital 1/2 inch. To verify that it was correct, I just tightened down these bolts that mount the engine stand to the block, and I tightened it to 50 foot-pounds for the spring type, and then I verified that with the digital and it was correct. So I don't have to take the cam caps or the cams out in order to re-torque the head, because the head is torqued properly. Alright, so this is how far I've gotten today. Alternator, water pump, all of that stuff has been put on. Where I'm at a standstill is what I'm gonna do with the oil block. So I have the Tomei one. It was part of the blown up engine. So what I can do is actually clean it because it's nothing too crazy, and then get new lines to run to a basic, like a Greddy oil filter relocation, and that has 2 barbs to run an oil cooler, which I think is the best course of action, especially since this doesn't have any oil squirters. So I'm thinking if I should do that, I might have to source it and then make the lines. The lines is what's gonna be the most difficult part, because I think it's 10 AN, and like if anybody knows about making AN lines, they suck. So making 10 AN lines, and then not to mention buying the fittings, making sure everything lines up, that's gonna be a pain. But that will be something that's done in the car. I just need to clean that Tomei oil block. But as of right now, this is what the engine looks like, and this is how it's gonna stay until I come back to the shop. I gotta work 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm playing fire right now because it's like 9:30 going on 10, and I'm still here. So I'm just clean up a little bit, head out, and I'll pick this video up back when I come back to the shop. All right, continuing the video, but before we get into it, I want to let y'all know, as I'm actually recording this video on this day, I'm turning 30. Like, today's my 30th birthday, which is crazy. Part of me feels like I should be further, but I was actually having this conversation about I just have to appreciate where I am, because I'm constantly making progress. So I feel like that was definitely an insight that I needed at that time. So going forward, I'm gonna try to change that mindset, because I can only control what I can control. Everything else is out of my hands. So with that being said, I can control this engine getting built, and whether that's what we're gonna do right now. So I needed to drill and tap the block for the coolant port. It's coolant feed to the turbo. I did that off camera just in case I messed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to show y'all that. So I did it. It's done. We're good. It's drilled, it's tapped, it's in there snug, and we're good money. So what that means is I can put the turbo on, which is good news. So I'm gonna replace the old ISR fittings that I had in the turbo with the Faction Motorsports fittings. They're pretty much the same things, but I just want to replace everything since I just have it. And then I'm gonna throw the lines on. Once the lines are on, I can throw the turbo with the manifold on and then tighten the lines together, and that's pretty much it. All right, so try to mock up the turbo just to see how the lines fit, and I'm running into an issue. The only issue is this inner line doesn't seem to be long enough. That's not a Faction issue, it's a me issue. I just so happened to get the biggest size turbo that I could put bottom mount. So maybe there's a bigger turbo, I don't know, but this compressor housing is huge, and because of that, the line can't go past the compressor housing. So I kind of have to go up and over, like up and down, to get to that water line. Again, it's not a Faction issue, it's a me issue. That's the reason why I made the other lines longer. Since I made the other lines longer, it could just go down and over. All right, so I'm back. It was probably only a few seconds for y'all, but last time I was here was the day of my birthday, and it is now the 20th, so it's literally been 2 weeks ago. I don't say literally, it's actually been 2 weeks ago. But yeah, I haven't been here because, for one, I'm kind of over this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over this whole 240 SR stuff. Like, I'm kind of over it. and also I was waiting on an oil filter relocation kit. The same one that I had, the one that I had was Circuit Sports. The reason why I had it because it's so difficult to get to this part in the engine bay. I mean, to get to this part of the engine while the engine's in the engine bay. So like I can't get my hands down here because I have these stupid tubs in this car. I didn't put the tubs in the car came like that, so it's not my fault, but I also got to deal with it because I bought the car like that. So with that being said, what I'm gonna do today is I actually wrote down a list. I have a lot of stuff to do. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it done all at once because it is a lot. But what I'm gonna try to do at least is get everything for the engine and trans done so it can go back into the car, and then that's gonna be it for this video. I prolonged this video enough, and I at least want to get it mounted back in the car before I end this video, because this video has taken me like months to do, and I'm a chronic procrastinator. Plus, like I just said, I lost my motivation for this. So what I'm gonna do now, button everything up that I can button up. That includes finalizing the turbo situation, so changing out the faction line, putting my other line back on, then put the intake manifold on. Everything that goes underneath the intake manifold is gonna get buttoned up. That way I don't have to finagle or finesse whatever while it's in the car. I don't want to have to deal with that. As far as the valve cover, I'm still gonna run the red valve cover. I feel like I have to. But with that done, that means I could take it off the stand. I could put that little vacuum plate, I don't know what it's called, the flywheel clutch kit on. One issue I am having that's might prevent me from doing that is pilot bushing. So I don't have a pilot bushing for this engine, but I still have it from the last one. So I'm debating if I should just take it out, reuse it. I don't know. It's probably a terrible idea, those who are watching, but I'm probably just gonna do it because at this point I really don't care. All right, so this is what the turbo setup is looking like. This is coolant line. The other coolant line I had is in, done. Oil feed, oil drain, done. I just need to find the new nuts for the exhaust manifold, put that on, and then we're good money. All right, so I'm using the same kit that I used before. Circuit Sports, Tomei, straight to here. The filter goes on here. All right, so this is where I'm at right now. I'm sorry I haven't picked up the camera in a while. I just got a flow and I just went with it. So turbo's on. I put the drain, well, just a water line. It's very tight in between there. There's nothing I could do about that because the compressor housing is actually very large for the turbo. That line fits way better than the faction line, so I put that on. I have a few nuts in the manifold on. I didn't put all of them on. I just put the harder ones to get to. So like this nut right here, you have to kind of like put the manifold on the stud like at the very beginning, then put the nut on and thread the nut for it all to go back. So I put that one on as difficult one, the ones down below the difficult ones. The other ones are easy to access, so I just threw those on for right now. Water is done, oil is done, boom, that's done. Intake manifold is on. I realized I shouldn't have put this upper intake manifold portion on because I still have to plug in the injectors, but I could take that off in the car, so it really doesn't matter. Below here, I have every coolant line except this little coolant line right there. But once I take this upper manifold off, I can get access to throw that line on. I just don't know where it is. Obviously, you've seen that the oil block and relocation, whatever, that's on. The motor mounts for both sides are on. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So this is more assembled than the last time that you guys seen it, and that's how it's supposed to be. This is usually one of the hardest parts. Gotta make sure this joint is aligned. Otherwise, when you're trying to get the bolts in, it won't work. Hold on. Get this a little higher. So it's not on there. Actually, don't really gotta worry about that right now. Just need to get it on. I wanted to show ya how much like thread
A few moments later.
All right, so to end this video, the engine is in the car. So I fought with this pretty much all day, and it was kind of annoying, but got it done. As you can see, I didn't remove the engine hoist yet. I just bolted in the trans bolts. For the next video, I'm not even gonna worry about filming, buttoning everything up. I'm really gonna try to configure the AEM digital dash and the ECU so I can get this started. So I also need to do a lot of little stuff that I don't feel like filming, and I'm sorry for the filming, like it's been kind of trash, but it's kind of difficult obviously doing it by yourself, and I don't want everything to be just time lapses. So with that being said, there's one thing that I want to do before I get into driving this car, and is switch out the carpet. So I bought carpet for this car, and from a car that didn't have holes, but it did have rust, so it's a little dirty. So what I want to do is I want to take it outside on a nice day, pressure wash it, scrub it, you know, soap it, scrub it, get that done. And then but the crappy part about that is I would have to pull the seats. So good thing there's only the seats and the dash in there. There's not any real like interior pieces that I really got to worry about, but to get those seats in is a pain. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So will I even do that? I have no idea. I should, because the carpet in there is cut up and it doesn't look good. But before I end this video, one thing that I want you guys to do, if you made it this far, if you could just put an accomplishment that you had this year so far in the comments, because I will definitely read the comments, and more than likely I will respond back. So just tell me an accomplishment, you know what I mean? Maybe it could be something little like you just got your driver's license, you know what I mean? Something small. It could be something big like you left the country for the first time. So just whatever an accomplishment that you achieved this year, just drop it in the comments. All right, see ya in the next one.